Hey everyone, welcome to this case study interview with the amazing Dawn Michaela. She is a graduate of our 10K and 30-day program. You also are in the Bikini Business Coach year-long mastermind program. You came to our live event. She is a mindful eating and body reconnection coach. She works with men and women, only women?
Just women.
Just women with dance, mindful eating, meditation. You're going to love Dawn. She is a rock star. You can find out more about her work at dawnmichaela.com. Floor is yours. I mean, it was so synchronistic bumping into you now here in Mount Shasta. We were actually kind of chatting on Facebook and, hey, let's do this dance, this dance weekend, dance Sunday. And Dawn was like, your program changed my life. I want to thank you. And I was like, hey, tell me all about it. Can we do an interview? So like, I don't know how to start this, but we're like, this it's over a year now since you've been out of our programs.
Yeah, a little over a year. I graduated kind of early 2019. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind since then. And I think the biggest thing that, when we were up in Mount Shasta, and I wanted to thank you for, I think probably the biggest transformation that happened after the 10K and 30 day and the Bikini Business Mastermind was, it really came down to the mindset and how much you guys pushed of like, no, baby, this is you. Like you are the creator of everything. And you guys really forced me to look at where I was keeping myself stuck. And it just ripped the mask off and made me confront so much things that I was realizing, like I was wanting to create a business out of like validation from a place of like emotional pain and like really struggling of like, why isn't this working? And it wasn't until really coming and working with you guys that you just like kicked me off the cliff and we're just like, time to own your shit and look at your mindset and own your vibration. And no one had ever like pushed my face into the mirror quite like you guys did. And it catalyzed such a deep transformation in me that I am not the same person I was before working with you, like on every single level, like body, mind, soul, business, everything completely transformed when I finally got real and actually in touch with who I was and got my mindset on lock. Everything changed.
And it's people sign up. They're like, well, I'm going to make money in the 10K. I want to make $10,000 a month. And they come into the program. And it's like, psych, you can get a whole life transformation because nobody really understands just how rooted they are in their behaviors from, let's say, wounding or trauma, or let's call it, the false identity, the ego, right?
Yeah.
And what I find just absolutely personally as a coach, what fascinates me the most is watching women go through this complete change, radical change and rebirth of identity. First, you got to let go of the old self. Oh shit. Right. And we do get a lot of, there's certainly a lot of things you can get validation from, but are you living from your soul? Is yourself, your real soul self driving your bus, or is it your child mind or your false ego identity? 100%. Where are you in this journey? Because you could make a business and make a shit ton of money, but that's not really going to fulfill you.
Right.
So this, this whole coaching world is, hey, get freedom and make more money and then live your purpose. Well, that purpose is like that's the real deal right there. So what is that? What is that? And how do we connect with that? And when we are connected with that, how does that change our lives? What message, what would we have then to share from that space?
Right. Oh, go ahead.
Well, that's just it. To me, I love hearing that, that was a radical transformation for you, and on all aspects, not just business, but personal, relationship, life, your behavior. So Um, yeah, it's a pretty rad transformation. I mean, where were you before? Like, let's talk about some of the details or the outcomes, or, you know, tangibly. Like, transformation is a big word.
Yeah, yeah, it covers all matters of things, doesn't it? Yeah. So where I was before was I had started coaching before coming and working with you. I'd been, you know, coaching for about a year, and, you know, really thought I had it all figured out. Like, was totally in, you know, kind of this ego state of like, oh, I've got this on lock. It's fine. I'm good. And I just needed a little bit more help. But I hadn't really started doing the mindset work. And so I was just like showing up. But what I realized in working with you was who was showing up was not actually me. I was not coming at a place of authenticity. It was very much this mask. And then I was wondering, like, why isn't this working? Why am I not getting the results that I want? And I was making some money, but then when I came and worked with you guys, and we really started diving into like the Neville Goddard stuff and the mindset, and I really started, you know, who do I want to be? And really started getting in touch with all of that. What I realized so much was that, oh God, how do I put it into words? It was who I wanted to be and who I was showing up as did not match. And what I was feeling called to do, and this is one thing that I think a lot of people need to hear, is that, you know, coaching is a calling. Like, to serve. It's not just something like, if you're just like wanting to like, oh, get in, make a couple quick bucks, like do this, but you are in for a big awakening, because it's not that simple. Like, this is deep soul work. You know, letting go of imposter syndrome is like, you better get ready to get really real with your own shit to figure out, like, why do I not feel like I'm enough? Why am I feeling like I'm a joke? Like, you better be ready to dig deep and push through all that. And I found that every time that I wanted to quit, and every time that I wanted to just be like, I can't do this, this is getting too hard, it's like that calling kept pulling me forward of like, no, baby, this is what you're meant to do. And so that pushed me and propelled me forward. But in working with you guys, you really gave me like a structure of how to do this. But I think the biggest thing you guys gave me was permission to be the biggest, boldest version of myself. Like, I was playing so small, so small. And then to come and have a mentor like you, who was just like, boom, bigger than life. It like blasted the doors open of like, I can be that biggest version of myself as well. And, you know, by the time I graduated, even just the 10K, I'd made 15 grand. And then I went on to the year long, had my first, you know, five figure months, just like boom, 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 boom. And it all seemed like it was happening for me. It was all seemed like, oh my gosh, here we go, here we go, here we go. And then I hit the massive limiting belief, and it all fell apart. It just, boom, completely exploded. And that's honestly what the biggest thing I wanted to thank you for, was for facilitating that explosion. Because what it made me realize was that everything that I was trying to do was actually coming from a place of deep pain. It wasn't coming from a zone of genius. It was coming from a deep inner child wounding. And it was all just like smoke and mirrors, trying to make everyone see like, I'm okay. I'm okay. Look at all the success. Look at this money. Look at all of this. This means I'm successful. But deep inside, I was not okay. I was this, you know, wounded little girl who just wanted somebody to love them, and had a really, really hard time showing up from that place, because I so deeply believed that I wasn't worthy of being seen, that I wasn't wanted, I wouldn't be loved, I wouldn't be enough. And so working with you guys really forced me to look at that and actually do the work to heal that. And now on the outside of doing that work, I've now literally manifested a life beyond my wildest dreams. So I've got the guy, I've got the house, I've got, you know, literally like what they say in like all the law of attraction books of like checks just coming to you in the mail. It's like, yeah, that's actually happening. And just watching, you know, abundance and every way, financial, joy, friends, everything just flooding in. And I feel like that's where I wanted to get. And I thought just having this business and money would get me there. And it wasn't until working with you guys that it was like, no, this is an internal job. And you got to change your inner concepts of yourself. And once you do that work, then the party starts.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, you're hearing Dawn speak very authentically. This is another thing that happens when the illusory self, or I have to get my happiness, my approval, my safety's out there, my approval's out there from those people who, I need those people to like me. I need those people to love me before I can be okay. I need the amount of money in my bank account before I feel safe. That's chasing externals.
Yeah.
That's identifying with, the chasing happiness and safety and control and approval outside the self, when really, we are that. We've been trained and taught by society the opposite. We're not really, you don't really go to school to learn how to become a conscious creator.
No.
There's no school teaching you how to use the faculties of your subconscious mind. And really look at all of your life like a mad scientist. Like, ooh, how did I create that? Wow, what's that a reflection of?
Yeah. And the other cool thing too was like realizing like just how much of my life, not just in trying to build my business, but just how much of my life I had done by just this pure willpower and
control, masculine energy.
Oh yeah.
Give me
overdrive of masculine, like I'll get this shit done, boom, 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 boom. Just like I will build my own mountain.
And then you wake up and you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't actually fulfill me.
I was burning out. Like I would, every like 6 weeks, I would just crash and burn. And then I'd be like, okay, build myself up again, go harder, push harder. And then I would just keep burning out. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is up with this?
Well, there's a lot of clients have said that, they came to take your power back now, to do a women's empowerment program because they didn't want to be in the grind and the hustle of following a masculine plan or business or gurus, or, I'm not a guru by any stretch. I say this every week to all of the clients, like, I screw up all the time. That's one of my 4 rules. I'm not your guru. I make mistakes all the time. But how do we build a business that is really in alignment with our core values, and more importantly, how we want to feel?
Yeah.
There's a goal out there. Okay. You want your 10 grand a month, but really the 10 grand a month is, or whatever it is, the 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, who gives a shit? I was making $400,000 a month. I still wasn't happy. Fuck. I've been there too. Shit. Let me go.
Real talk, man.
Real talk. Here it is. When I get the car, when I get this, when I get the $1 million a month, then I'll be successful. What the fuck is that about? It didn't bring me any form of real satisfaction.
No. And I realized, that was the hard truth that you guys really showed me, was like, I felt this call in my soul to serve, but actually serving, like, with no agenda, just being myself serving, that was like absolutely terrifying. I was like, no, I have to make the money. I have to do this. I have to do this. I became very controlled, very like, I need the clients, I need the approval, I need the this. And if I have all of this,
then I'll feel good.
Then I'll feel good. Then I can serve. Then I'll be seen. Then I'll feel safe.
Doesn't work that way.
And that was the boom moment, was I had to realize, no, honey, you got it backwards. Like, completely backwards. That I had to get
know yourself
I had to get right with me, and I had to get to the point where I could look in the mirror and see someone who was worthy and deserving of being seen, and who had the power to serve, and whose story was important and was worthy of being told.
All of life, we live in a reflective universe. So that, who we are, if, we will reflect back to us. In our clients, in our relationships, in our company. So really, I like to call this taking your power back now. Really, it's like the power is either out there and we're a victim and we're reacting all the time, or we're we're tuned in, tapped into consciousness.
Yeah. And, you know, I
serving
think
from that place.
100%. And it's like, as we were talking about like the masculine, feminine, it's like, you know, one of the things that I realized that like spirituality was void from my business. Like it was not there. There was no faith. It was just me. And I felt like I had to do it alone. And so in doing that spiritual work and balancing that masculine, feminine, and realizing that like, wow, this over powerful masculine that I've just been trying to create from, that's just been this grit, this grind, has been trying to build like with my hands. But I needed to tap into the feminine side of me that just creates inherently from like the core of you, that it's just the essence of you is the creator. And I completely lost sight of that. It was just like, what do you mean it comes from within? What do you like? No, I have to force this. That's the only way it's going to get done. And that just kept hitting burnout. I kept losing my business and starting over again. And it wasn't until I really did that inner work to heal and start creating from that place of like, you know what, I am enough and I am a fucking badass and I don't give a shit what anybody else says because I am enough and my story's fucking cool and I can transform lives and let's fucking do this. Like, bring it, baby. Like, it wasn't until I could confidently stand in that place that's when everything just, but while that was just a mask I was wearing, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But not really. It just wasn't working.
Yeah. You've got to do the work. Absolutely. It's not just, this is why I say it's really not just about the Facebook ads or the funnels, or, I mean, those are important parts, right? Like having a sales attraction system, having your high-end program. These are all important, you know, having a marketing plan. They're all very important. Your niche, they're all very important things, but right alongside it, you know, all these things, right alongside it is your confidence. That's why, you know, I focus a lot on confidence and cash flow. You got to have the confidence there first. You have to know really, well, there's a lot of confidence in the divine, confidence in, you know, the process of reshaping your concepts of self, understanding how the subconscious and the conscious mind works, really dissecting this law of attraction thing, looking at our shadows, looking at this, are we behaving from our wounded masculine hustle? Or can we relax into, not just relax into, you know, follow intuition, but I always say, you know, entrepreneurship is like a full-on contact sport. It's gonna, fuck man, it is no fucking joke. You want to do a personal development program, start a business. It's going to show you all your edges, going to show you, you know, it's the energetic expression, reflection of all your thoughts and beliefs about yourself and the world. And it's kind of like you're an employee and, you know, you have this vehicle, you go to work and your boss pays you money and you put gas in the, you know, in your vehicle, and then you become an entrepreneur. It's like, gas don't work in the vehicle anymore. You're fueled by the divine. You take action on your inspiration, your intuition, boom. And, you know, money loves speed. Yeah. However, most people are so caught up, wrapped up, rung around, led by this ego, false identity self, they can't even hear their intuition, let alone trust it and act on it.
Right.
So there's a lot of deprogramming that has to happen. And this is the part that I find fascinating. Can we talk to, you know, can I teach you guys about sales? And fuck yeah, I have a good time, you know, yeah, all this shit, you know, overcoming sales objections and yes, niche and, you know, clarity. Yeah. But I think the real skills that you develop as a coach or as an entrepreneur, or the internal, what Don would call mindset, the empowerment, you know, yeah. How does your mind, how does your consciousness work? What's intuition? You know, how do you learn to trust that? Because every time you do, your business grows, expands, people come to you. It's quite magical. It's quite a magic carpet ride.
It is. And like, it's like, once you start clearing those blocks and you start feeling like the universe magic rush in and fill that space that you were trying to control, it's like, I've heard you say, it's like, it becomes like a freaking magic carpet ride. And you're just like, whoa, okay. Like, I'm not driving this bus anymore. Like, this is just happening. And
Surrender. They require
Yes.
surrender because there's three trappings. The ego, this false self wants control, wants approval, and it wants safety. And everything, all of our behaviors become about that. And in doing that, we constrict the magic of life to like a little drop instead of this open channel of opportunities, money, abundance, everything shows up. But we've got to like it's a really interesting thing. The soul's already there. Soul already knows this is for us. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. We'd be out, doing something else. We'd be attracted to something else. And there is, people ask me, how do you make goals then? And I used to make, whatever the amount of money, this is the goal and this is it. But now I'm a little bit smarter now, after 13 years in business. I'm like, this is how I want to feel. This is how I want to feel in my business. This is what I'm no longer willing to do. Okay. Somebody else is going to do that.
Yeah.
This is how I want to feel in my business every day. And that's my goal.
Yeah.
Everything else kind of happens around that. But that's really, in the end of it, I mean, we have a business, yes, to serve, doing something that we love, that in our genius zone. We talked a little bit about this. Let's have a crack at this. This is a good one. Genius zone versus, what was the other one?
Zone of excellence.
Zone of excellence.
Yeah. And this was like a big wake up moment for me too, is when I read The Big Leap by Guy Hendricks. And he's talking about all these different zones. Like you have like your zone of competence, your zone of excellence, your zone of genius. And when you're in a zone of genius, that's when you're just in full alignment with your soul's purpose. Like you don't even have to try. It's just like you are in complete alignment. Whew, I just got goosebumps when I said that. That's when just magic is happening. That's when you're on the magic carpet ride. And the books are just channeling, your videos are making themselves, and you're just in complete flow. Zone of excellence is, it's like you're very much in control. You're doing something you're good at. You're very much good at it. You can do it all day long with your eyes closed, but is it lighting you up? Do you have to kind of talk yourself into doing it? Do you have to kind of force yourself to do it? And does it not feel really good? And what I came to realize was like, oh my God, I'm 100% trying to build a coaching business from my zone of excellence.
Yeah.
And I'm not truly letting zone of genius take me. And I think you hit it on the head. It was like, I was not willing to surrender. Like my masculine was so needing control that it was blocking me from being able to step into genius, because in excellence, I could control it. Yeah. I could plan it out. I could know exactly what I was going to do, when I was going to do it. But the whole idea of surrender, fuck that.
We are trained like that in society. We are trained to, get a safety paycheck. And I mean, your money doesn't come from your boss. Hey, by the way, FYI folks, money comes from the value that you deliver in the marketplace. That was a big wake up moment for me when I left my job to become an entrepreneur. The sheer terror of, oh my God, will I make the same amount of money in my coaching business as I did in my job? That belief, that fear, that was like 2 years. It was like a 2-year.
Oh, me too. That was one of the ones I had to realize I had to dismantle. Didn't even realize that one was in there. Of like, you're not worthy of making money unless it's in a paycheck form. Mm-hmm. It's like, man, definitely got to dismantle that one before you can manifest your own money.
We really don't learn about, the ego. We don't learn about this in school. This is not they don't teach us actual real shit in school that's actually useful. So all of the actions, all of the behaviors, it's like, and it's like a computer, right? When I started studying this several years ago, and it was like waking up in a sci-fi movie, to be honest with you. Like everything I've been and every way I've, thought is really controlled by these needing control, needing safety, needing others' approval, everything, every action, every behavior, every thought. Whoa. Talk about reinvention. Talk about a journey of awakening. But it's like a computer, right? It's like you go to delete a file. These are like programs, right? Are you sure you want to delete this? You're like, we are the our soul really is the, yes, I delete this thing. I don't want to behave like this anymore. I don't want this to be my operating system. It's a massive awakening.
Yeah.
Some of the books that I've really enjoyed, you mentioned, what was the book that you mentioned?
I mentioned a lot of, Guy Hendricks, The Big Leap.
Okay. The other one that I've really enjoyed is The Desire Map by Danielle Laporte, talking about goals in terms of like how you want to feel versus this can't be okay. And like, unless I get this tangible out here, who cares if you kill yourself on the way to it? That's not it. That's not it. Right. So how you want to feel about your business or about a relationship. I think this is a fantastic book. And the other one was, I think it's a woman named Stark. Is that her name? She talks about, she has some books and it's really about, her goal is, I want to be led by a life that juices me up. Is it juicy?
That's a good one.
I'm going to do something. If it's juicy, I'm on it, if it calls to my soul. And it's a really hard, line in the sand, because as an entrepreneur, you start out, doing everything. So you kind of have to learn a little bit of this, a little bit of that, when do you start outsourcing? When do you start just really living in your genius zone? That's what I love about our year-long program is now you've got some of the confidence, you got some sales under your belt, and now, hey, you can really start showing up as like boss babe,
Yeah.
Start outsourcing. Let's get a team around you so that you can, take a month off, take a vacation. Your business is still going to keep going.
Yeah.
And you don't have to necessarily do, let's say, the mundane tasks that, are not in your zone of genius.
Right. And that was a cool thing too, that just your whole philosophy and coaching style really was one of the first people who really showed me this of like, business needs to be fun. Like, if you're not having fun, what's the point? And, again, that was like such a stark contrast of like, what do you mean have fun? This is about money. This is about boom. This is about boom. Like, and it was like, what do you mean joy? My business should bring me joy. Like, what the fuck is that concept? No, my business should bring me money. Right. And so that was, again, like I had built this business that wasn't making me happy, that like I was starting to resent, because I was, again, out of touch with that alignment. And I was more concerned of the success and the money than actually building something that brought me joy, that felt good, that I could show up for every day with like, can't wait. This is so much fun. This is my playground. This is my canvas. I get to paint and create and do whatever I want here. And I trust that the money will come. The soul clients will come if I'm just shining my light as bright as I can. That I couldn't even see that until working with you.
And I think this really comes down to, we do a lot of work with, worthiness and deservingness. So it's this, it's really the inner exploration around the conversation of, do you have to suffer for money? Is that what it is? Do you know what I mean? What is that really, when you really start looking deep into this worthiness, deservingness, let's say go back in your childhood, reparent your inner child, all this stuff.
Yep.
You're going to see whether you twist yourself into a pretzel for money or not. How much, and a lot of working on that worthiness, deservingness. And I don't care what level of business you're in. I mean, shit, I've made millions of dollars. I still work on that stuff daily,
The work never stops.
The work never stops. It's like a shower. You stop having a shower, you start to smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mindset it's a daily thing. But the every entrepreneur on every level is working on that. And it also touches love. It's really fascinating to see how many women that have come through our programs, a lot of them have, taken our program and learned so much about their own, ability to consciously create, that they exit bad relationships, toxic relationships, get divorced, enter new, get married. This to me is also fascinating,
right?
Because that worthiness, it's about money and abundance, and also joy and receiving and love. And
yeah. And I realized too, on this journey in the blow up, of realizing how many blocks I had around receiving.
Yeah.
It was like, again, I'm not worthy of it. I really truly believe, because of those inner child woundings, that I wasn't worthy of having good things, of having things that brought me joy. I wasn't worthy of achieving my dreams because I was holding on to this belief that I deserved to be punished. And so it's like, well, how are you supposed to create this thing while you're holding on to this belief of like, I don't deserve to have what I want?
Or have it be easy, you know?
Right. It's like, you're going to be in a really big pickle jam there. Like if you're trying to create this thing, but your mindset's telling you, no, you can't have that. You don't deserve that. It's like,
and no matter how many Facebook ads courses you take, that shit's not going to change until you go in and are willing to, again, I always tell all of the women, you know, in the programs every week, I remind them, you know, most people wouldn't even attempt what you're doing. They wouldn't attempt it. They'd keep a job. They would stay like a pet. Here you go. Here's your couple of pellets that you get. Somebody else telling you how much you're worth, how many vacation days you can take a year. Right? I mean, that's what you're trading. You're trading it in. You're trading all that in for this vehicle. And this is really what a business is. And we're going to talk a little about this. A vehicle for freedom, for a freedom of you, sky's the limit. You can make as much as you want. Who says you need to be a millionaire? You don't have to if you don't want to be. Shit, it's your business. You want to make 10 grand a month, 20 grand a month, stop there. Great. An extra 5 grand a month. It's really up to you. A vehicle for all of this freedom, time freedom, money freedom, freedom to actually serve in a way that feels, you know, delicious and yummy and is authentic, right? Mask comes off, you become more authentic. That's like, wow. You can even hear it when you're just able to talk about yourself. There's no, you know, there's no shame around it. It's pretty fucking rad. That's real. That's why I say authenticity is a new currency in business. It's what happens when you do the work. You're able to be okay with yourself and be out in the world.
Yeah, and that brings up a really good point.
That inspires people. Oh shit, yeah, that's radiance. That is real shit. That's real confidence. That's real, I don't need you to like me. That's
right.
Like kryptonite.
And that was one of the things that before working with you, I realized, and it's like, I didn't see this until later looking back, but one of the things that when I first started before coming and working with you guys was I was so wrapped up in this, like, I have to appear perfect in all my videos. Like, I can't say that I still struggle with things. They would never hire me if they don't think I'm perfect. So I have to, everything was scripted. Everything was like hair done. I have to appear like I have my shit together. Like I don't struggle with anything anymore. And again, it wasn't resonating with people. And it wasn't until I started having the confidence to show up on a bad hair day without makeup and be like, hey guys, I just got my ass kicked by a trigger.
Well, that's, you know, real. That's
yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I still struggle with this shit. I still have bad days. Like, yeah, 100%. Like, we're human. Like, just fucking accept it. Like, let go of your perfectionism. And here's how I got through it. Here's how I pulled myself back up. It's like, until I got the confidence to be that real and that raw with people, that's when things started happening. But while I was so consumed with this idea of like, I have to be perfect for anyone to buy from me, again, burnout.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Those are the blocks, right? Visibility blocks. It's perfectionism. It's the imposter syndrome. It's all of these. It's identifying with the false self is what it is. And when you really take your power back and understand how to wield your power as a conscious creator through the power of decision, remaking your concepts of self, feeling all the shitty feelings, right? Closing those energy leaks or reparenting your inner child. There's a lot of inner work that we do. And yeah, you do learn, you know, the rad, build a sales attraction system, have a funnel, have a digital or a high ticket coaching program that you can sell for a few $1,000s. Yeah, we teach you all that too. You learn all that. Mm-hmm. That's in the membership site. You know, we have.
Yeah, and you need all of that.
You do, but that's half the shit, right? That's half of it.
That's half of it.
The other half is the human being that's got to show up and implement and do all that, you know, every day. And if you don't feel like a rock star, if you don't have the confidence, if you're not right with yourself, you're not going to implement all of that stuff.
You're gonna self-sabotage, actually.
And so
I remember,
that's
I remember a couple times when I first started, like I was running my ads, but I was still coming from this like perfectionism place. I'm not deserving, I'm not worthy, all the blocks. And I was getting people coming into my group. I was getting people responding to me. And because I still had all this stuff, it's like I wasn't responding. I wasn't following up. So I was like self-sabotaging myself. So I'm like, okay, the people are sitting here at my doorstep, but I'm still like crippled by this visibility block where I'm not opening the door. I'm not willing to talk to them. So, and then I was still like, oh, why won't anyone buy from me? Why is this not happening? It's like, open your door, baby. Like they're right there. You're keeping yourself from having this experience.
Yeah. It's our concepts of self, and also being empowered to be able to know what to do with feelings, because I don't know about you, but no one taught me how to deal with feelings when I was a kid. No one taught me in school.
No.
I studied acupressure and Chinese medicine. I was like, wow, this is some really cool shit. You press these buttons in the body and it does this. And what happens when we have emotions that don't move or stagnate. It was like that was kind of the beginning. And I got into law of attraction, and then the subconscious mind reprogramming, healing your inner child, reparenting, trigger proofing your nervous system. I mean, I'm still learning about it. I'm still deep diving, and I think it's always going to be just a lifelong obsession for me. But we're human beings. We have emotions, and most people are trying to do all this shit and we look really good in my business, so I don't have to feel these shitty feelings. And the funny thing is, all feelings want to leave. That's the wildest part. We have those feelings, we allow them to run out, and then there's that space. And in that space, hey, guess that's where the intuition comes in. That's when the magic happens. That's when the idea comes, not when the mind or when the body is just stirred up with emotion. Yeah. So it's really learning, life skills with how to manage, how to recognize when we're triggered, how to manage ourselves in that. And I like to call it let's come back to neutral ground. Mm-hmm. Right? You can't plant a seed in the garden if it's full of weeds in your mind, or weeds of emotion. Let's pluck them all out. And then you're in your ground zero, and you can plant new seeds that will grow into, what you really want or what you're called to do.
Exactly. And it's like, I love what you were saying. And this was something that I saw this, and it just it blew my mind, not in a good way. But, I saw some ads for some other coaching, just because, I'm constantly seeing ads for, coaches. And I saw this one come up where this person was basically saying, don't listen to these coaches that try to sell you on mindset. This is a numbers game. This is a hustle game. And I was just like, whoa.
Well, so now we have the dichotomy, okay? Because here's the deal. I've invested, $60,000 a year, in a coaching program. And it was one of the best programs I ever did. It was very much however, it was very much the numbers, track your numbers. It is a numbers game. It really fundamentally, it really is. The problem is we're not machines,
right?
We're human beings. So you do have some very core business numbers, funnels, and these are the good practices of absolutely looking at your profit, looking at your ad spend versus your revenue. This is all really, really important business building stuff. It's just there's a whole other world over here called the human being that's actually operating and showing up and if the human being is not right, not feeling good, right, not, operating from wounding, you're going to create a business, but it won't give you the freedom or the satisfaction or the fulfillment that you're after. It will be, like you said, a burn. It will be, like money. You can make a shit ton of money. Money just makes you more of who you are.
Right.
So I think, really to come, it's a really interesting dichotomy. You got to be right with yourself first, and then here, let's apply some really savvy marketing, sales, tracking numbers. That's how it works.
Right. I think that's the perfect balance of like the masculine feminine. Of it's like, yeah, you need the part like the balanced masculine that's gonna push forward, have goals, track your money, track your this, track your goals. But yeah, you have to take, especially like for women, it's like you have to look at the human side. If you're trying to build a business without actually looking at your mindset, yourself, your vibration, it's going to be again, not impossible, but
you'll have to recreate it.
Yeah, and at least in my experience, it won't bring you the joy that you think it will. Like you'll get to the place where it's like, yeah, I was having hitting 10K, 15K months, and I was still in this constant panic. It was still like constant anxiety of like, oh my God, I won't get another client. Oh my God, I have to hustle. Oh my God, like everything felt like I was just in constant adrenaline.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an addiction to adrenaline, or addiction to suffering, or addiction to pain, or addiction to control, or addiction. It is. We until we heal those, reparent ourselves or heal those energy leaks, these cracks, right? We do live in an addiction to that energy, that vibe.
Yeah. And like victim mentality, that was a big one for me that I realized like, whoa, massively holding on to this belief of like that life is happening like to me, did not figure out that, no, this is for me. It felt very victim-y. And
well, here's the deal.
I had to turn that around too.
We're either feeling our feelings, all the shame, the guilt, the pain, the this, the that, that's the stuff from childhood, or we are exiting the body and going straight into the story, in which case there's the victim, right? The story. Then you're right. And then you don't have to feel the feelings, in which case you never really move, you never really change, you never really evolve.
You just said a mouthful there, girl. That's powerful.
And that's really the unlearning, the undoing. The unlearning is, okay, how do we, and that's why I say most people would not attempt to do this work. They wouldn't attempt it. They'll just go to a job, punch in and out, get somebody to pay them their lousy paycheck, their fake security.
Way easier.
Is it easier? Well, this is the thing. It's for people who don't really want freedom. Sure.
Yeah.
They can
it's easier in the short term. And I think that was one of the things that really kicked me into high gear too, was when I was coming up against the fears of like, I can just quit. Like when I was up against that, I'm like, okay, you're either going to break through this and start healing and owning yourself, or you're going to stay right here, like up against this glass ceiling. Choice is yours. That was one of the things that made me punch through, is because when I looked at, okay, if I give up, I can collect a paycheck, be, employed by somebody else my whole life. And when I thought of that, it was literally like the vibration of that was like worse than death.
Yeah. That's when
it like,
change.
I can't
the moment
do that.
This is the moment when people really change, is when the fear of staying the same, the pain of staying the same, becomes more than the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
That's when people, woo.
Yeah.
And it's a necessary up against the wall, left or right.
And I think that'd be a good message just to, anybody who's watching this, who, if you're like, you're considering starting a business, you're just starting, or you're wanting to work with Vanessa, of it's like, kind of demystifying pain and struggle. If it's like, this is going to challenge you, it's going to push you, it's going to hurt sometimes, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. That doesn't mean you're not pushing forward. That doesn't mean you're not in alignment. But if you're going into this trying to hide pain, trying to avoid pain, and you don't want to confront your pain, you're in for a bit of a rough ride. But
we had this conversation yesterday. I'm happy you're bringing this up. There was a woman on the inside of our program who was like, this technology shit is really fucking hard. And I said, yeah, you're learning a lot. You have so many new learning curves. Technology is just one of them. And that's what it is. You're running an online business. You're going to have to learn, some basic things and navigate online and end the story. Otherwise, become a fucking gardener, man.
Yeah.
Shit, you're in the wrong lane. And, okay, you can either suffer through the learning curves. It shouldn't take me so long. I should be further. It should be easier. Or you can just say, this is going to fucking suck for a bit. It's going to suck.
It'll take me a little longer than I want to, but
suck, and I'm still going to do it if the payout is worth it. Having freedom, being able to work from anywhere in the world, being able to make my own paychecks.
Totally.
Right? I'll deal with 3 to 6 months of, some learning curves, some pain.
Yeah. And it's also like, I've just, in my entrepreneurial journey, I've just kind of gotten to a place now where I'm just like, I'm so comfortable with discomfort. Like you just get so used to being in a state of discomfort. Like because you're constantly evolving. Like that's how you stay having fun is you're constantly,
in every room of my house, in my offices. There's one in here, there's one in the other room.
Yeah. You're constantly stepping into something new, constantly, hey, let me try this. I haven't done this before. So
you change. Guess what?
And you're gonna fail.
We change shit all the time. Things that work now, things that worked 6 years ago don't work now. It's a constant process of evolution and adapting,
Yeah.
And that's why I say entrepreneurship is like a full-on contact sport. It's going to challenge the F out of you. And it's also going to, people think, oh, I'm going to become an entrepreneur, make money. Psych. It's who you become. It's who you fucking become that is the real paycheck. No one can ever take that away from you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And just getting really used to falling on your face and just, make it part of the dance. Just like, boom, okay, that was a cool dance move. All right, get up, keep going. Like, and just learning to ride with it. Like I so had this belief that like, oh, once I make the money, I'm going to be comfortable. I'm going to be safe. Once I have reached a certain thing, everything's going to be easy. Well, that was a fucking rude wake up call when I realized like, oh, that day is never going to come. Like I'm going to constantly be challenged. I'm going to constantly be having to dig into what's hard. I'm going to have to constantly be, evolving and challenging myself, and nothing's ever guaranteed. And I just have to show up, just keep showing up as the best version of myself.
And hopefully with the tools, talk about being empowered with the tools, the mindset tools, I'm being triggered now. Okay, this is what's going on now. Okay, now I can do this. So that no matter what happens in life, you understand, there's my inner child showing up. All right, let me go deal with that. Oh, there's my ego. Oh, okay.
Totally.
This is
also like, like what's this teaching me too? Like Gabby Bernstein has a great quote where she said like, doing the inner work isn't about learning to not get bucked off the horse. It's learning how to get back on as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that's so great because it's like, everything's happening for you, not to you. And so it's like when something happens, it's like, what is this teaching me? How can I grow from this? And learning how to like learn the lesson and get back on the horse and keep going instead of wallowing in the mud. Why is this happening to me?
There's a time for wallowing though. There really is. I always say, your business, God puts you in a pile of shit. How you get out becomes your message to the world. No, I've always said that, when you're in a pile of shit, it smells like shit. It feels like shit. Those the shit makes the best manure to grow the most beautiful flowers. But when you're in it, there's also a lot of people that do the spiritual bypassing. Oh, I'm so happy all the time. And so like, that's not, you whatever you resist persists. So there is a time to wallow and feel the feelings. And then there's the processing of it. And all right, moving forward. Now what? That the ability to actually not abandon self in that moment is actually crucial. Those are more skills.
Truth. 100% truth.
And then, yeah, get back on and try it a different way. I always say that failure is a lesson, success is a lesson applied. You only fail when you stop trying.
Amen.
And I think there's a lot of, perceived failure in entrepreneurship. That's why I say most people wouldn't even attempt it. It's incredible that, and I think it's the most courageous, to confront yourself, to know thyself.
Yeah.
There's no end to it. There's so many different arenas you can learn, you can become an expert in. But knowing thyself, tell you what, man, never gets old. Personally, to that people trust me and my team, invest in our programs to guide them through this. I say it's a radical journey of change in identity, man. You want to go from making, 40, 60, 100 grand a year to 100 grand a month, baby. Whoo! This is a completely different animal, a completely different creature showing up. Like, your friends are going to change. They are, your lifestyle, how you show up, everything is going to change.
Yeah.
And that's living in the unknown. That's very scary.
It is. And, I think this is like a great place to kind of start bringing it to a close. But I think that was, something of like, yeah, my life has completely changed since I started working with you. Like, nothing looks the same. Nothing looks the same. And as it hard, to let go of some of those things, those relationships. That I lost friends, I lost all these different things, like, shed away. But now, like, standing where I am today, it's like, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Like,
not easy, but worth it.
Not worth it. No, I mean, not easy. Yes, but so worth it. Just the friends that I have are the most high vibration, supportive, loving, empowered friends I've ever had. My business is more aligned than ever. My relationship is better. Like, everything shifted, but it's like, yeah, you have to go through a lot of shedding away of those old concepts of yourself so that you can rise up.
And it takes radical honesty, radical responsibility, and radical self-love in order to do this work. And if people aren't really willing to do that, to come to their business with that kind of conviction, probably best if you stay in a job. Because it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's totally doable, totally worth it. You wouldn't trade in your experience. You wouldn't go back and say, I wouldn't have done this, even though there was a lot of learning curves, a lot of explosive transformations, a lot of looking at yourself and, oh my God, and it wasn't easy.
No.
But you would not trade it in.
No. Not at all.
Not easy, but worth it.
Not easy, but worth it, and worth every single penny, because, like, that refusing to give up, like, that when I fell on my face, I refused to throw in the towel and just kept getting up. And with that spirit, it's like every penny that I've spent on coaching, every penny that I spent on you, it's like I've made it back and then tenfold. And so it was that just
persistence.
Yeah, just persistence. It's like, I thought I was going to do this and like, oh, it's going to take me like 3 months. It's like, all right, well, 4 years later. Now I'm like, okay. I feel like I'm getting there now. Like, it's everything that I learned from you has like anchored in. It's like, it's in there now. Like, I don't have to flip through my notes anymore. It's like, it's programmed in there. So now I'm just like rocking and rolling. And
all the results. I mean, I always say this, people say they thank us, thank you. Okay. I received the thank you for holding space, and thank you for the content and the support. We have, a whole team that supports our clients, and they're amazing. But ultimately, you showed up with persistent, with radical, honesty, radical responsibility, radical self-love, and applied and continue. And now all the results are yours. And that's not something that you can buy.
No.
You can't buy the grit or the, determination or the persistence. That's something you've got to have within yourself. Hey, I'm going to do this. If it takes me a year, if it takes me 6 months, if it takes me 2 years, 4 years, doesn't matter. I'm going to commit, being committed, being resourceful, having persistence. That will really get you everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's not something you can buy from somebody.
No.
So,
And I think that was
growing up that way.
Yeah, and I think that was, again, last little nugget, to anybody, because I realized later that, man, this is exactly what I did. Was one of the biggest shifts was that I was coming to coaching, like trying to, like wanting you to fix me. There's very much like, oh, if I pay the high price, she has something. She has the missing piece in me that she can give to me. She will heal me. Being in this person's presence will make me whole again. And it wasn't until I realized, like, oh, wow, no, I was the only one who could give myself that.
That's right.
And you reflected that back to me so hardcore.
Yeah, radical response.
So hardcore. Oh, God, it hurts sometimes.
Well, that's looking for outside, external is going to make me whole versus no, I am it. Because I say this all the time, we give you the recipe, give you the best recipe, make the best chocolate cake, tell you what kind of eggs, what kind of mixer to use, kind of vanilla, this kind of flour, this many, cups of whatever. I can be on Zoom and like watch you do it, but I'm not going to come in the house and do it for you. You see what I mean? Yeah. That's really, I think, it's in the coaching world, there's a lot of coaches have this question, this duality, where's the boundary between, what am I responsible for versus, and that's now we're getting into the real conversation of empowerment. It's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. This radical responsibility. It's really what we learned. I'm so happy you said that, because that's probably the number one thing that I wish, to my clients graduate with is this. I have the tools, I have the skills, I'm empowered. I can handle whatever. I'm going to have fear, but I know how to overcome it. I know how to face my fear. I know how to behave. I know what to do in this situation. That's real empowerment.
Yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. I remember one of the things you told me when I was telling you on a call, like I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, I'm terrified. And you're like, can't you climb a mountain while you're still peeing down your leg?
Did I say that? Okay, great.
And I still remember that of like, and you were like, feel the fear and do it anyway, baby. Like you can be pissing your pants, terrified, and still be one foot in front of the other. Like, and so that always stuck with me. That was one of the little Vanessa nuggets.
True. Just, as long as we don't abandon ourselves and gaslight ourselves of, oh, I shouldn't be afraid. I should have this all figured out. No, you should be afraid because you've never done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot there. Dawn, I have so thoroughly enjoyed this interview with you. Thank you for taking the time to share with our viewers. Any last word you would like to impart with maybe people who are watching this or still watching this, like an hour-long friggin' interview here?
Well, thank you guys for sticking this long. I mean, just like I'm sure everybody else, like big thank you, for just being your fully empowered self and just shining that light, being that beacon, and giving me brave permission to do that for myself and chart my own way. And again, for showing me that it was within me the whole time. And this is a 100% an internal game, and giving me the tools to anchor in that mindset, to anchor in my worth, to build my confidence, to build the cash flow and everything, but really showing me that it's all in here. So thank you so much for being one of the best, most powerful teachers I've ever had in terms of that.
Thank you. Rad. And now all the results are yours. You showed up and implemented. You should check out dawnmichaela.com if you want to learn more about Dawn's work. And you can check out our programs at takeyourpowerbacknow.com or 10K-in-30-day-program.com or bikinibusinesscoach.com for a year-long program. I'm Vanessa Simpkins, and thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you guys real soon. Aloha.